started here. Thank you for Mirage for being patient and for being very Hong Kong-like, because you guys made it all the way from the building to the press conference, just like water. So thank you. So my name is Samuel Chu. I'm the Managing Director for Hong Kong Democracy Council, Hkdc. That is a new group that has been formed here in the U.S. in support of the pro-democracy movement in Hong Kong. And it is our distinguished pleasure to not only welcome a delegation from Hong Kong, but some of our champions in Congress. And we're going to start this press conference by allowing our champions in Congress to first give their remarks. All the speakers that you heard in the hearing will get a chance to speak, and you'll get a chance to interview them. But we'll begin our press conference by welcoming the great senator from the state of Indiana, Todd Young, who's a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and the Commission, the Congressional Executive China Commission. Thank you for being here, Senator.
Thank you. It's great to be here with my fellow lovers of freedom and with the human rights activists that testified before the Foreign Relations Committee today. So, look, I am proud to stand here with others who are defending our God-given rights. As I reflect on our own nation's history back in 1776, it was our founding fathers and founding mothers who were prepared to put everything on the line to ensure that they could enjoy their full human potential, the full spectrum of rights that they were born with. And just like those Americans, that's what the people of Hong Kong are doing today. They're making their voices heard. Recent events that have occurred just over the last few months, from the extradition bill to the heavy-handed police crackdown, speak to the greater ambitions that the Chinese Communist Party have. I spoke about it today in the hearing, but it's clear that China wants to have it both ways. On one hand, they want to enjoy the advantages of free trade with the wealthy countries of the world. On the other hand, they want to steal our intellectual property. On one hand, they want to provide development assistance and become a trusted development partner with developing countries of the world. On the other hand, they engage in predatory economic practices. And on one hand, they want to enjoy the economic benefits of the special status of Hong Kong under American law, and on the other hand, they engage in repression, stealing the very political, the social identity of the people of Hong Kong, and we're not going to stand for it. So we are with you. I'm proud to stand with you. I'm proud to be a co-sponsor along with my colleagues, Senators Rubio, Risch, Cardin, and Menendez of the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act. I want to offer my encouragement and commendation for all these heroes that have assembled here today. Keep up the fight. God bless.
Thank you, Senator. And now let me introduce Representative Tom Searcy from New York, and another champion who is a member of the House Foreign Affairs, as well as the Commission on China Relations, the Congressional Executive Commission for China. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Sam. I'm so happy that you said my name wrong, because I've been saying Chinese names wrong all day. I'm very happy. Tom Swazi, for those of you that are interested. Anyway, so I'm very happy to be here with you. This is so important. This is an opportunity for people here in the United States of America to help fund an organization to educate the Americans as to what's really going on. You know, we're all so passionate about this. We're all so educated. We know about the details of what's happening in Hong Kong right now, but we really need to persuade people throughout the United States of America that this is a fight that should matter to every single American that believes in freedom and democracy. And, you know, we've gotten a lot of attention of the relationship between the United States and China these days about the issue of trade, and it's a very important issue that needs to be addressed. Ready? Is that Beijing? A lot of attention has been paid to the issue of trade in the United States of America, and it is a very important issue. But what's going on in Hong Kong right now is representative of things we've been seeing happening for years in China. We've had hearings in the China Commission on the Uyghurs in Western China. We've had hearings on Tibet. We've been talking about that for 30 some odd years. And now, because of the bravery of some of the folks that are right here and many of their colleagues in Hong Kong, and young people especially in Hong Kong, the world is paying attention to what's happening in Hong Kong right now. But we can't stop. You know, we feel great today because we have members of the United States Congress and Senate paying attention to this issue and holding a hearing. We're happy to see the press that is here today. We've had a great, successful day educating the people of the United States of America and our colleagues in Congress as to what's going on. But we have so much more to do. And the creation of the Hong Kong Democracy Council will help us to accomplish that mission, to educate people about the need for us to continue to fight for freedom. And so, I mentioned this in the hearing today. I don't know who was there or who wasn't there, but I'm concerned, I'm personally concerned about the fact that the National Day for China is coming up on October 1st. This is going to cause a heightened sense of conflict, I'm concerned, between the pro-democracy protesters and the pro-Beijing government authorities. I'm concerned about November 24th, about the elections coming up in Hong Kong. This is really an opportunity to take some of the energy that exists and hopefully translate it into a change in some of the legislators in Hong Kong. But there's so much more to do. And I'm proud to be a co-sponsor of the bills we've been talking about here today, and I will continue to fight for democracy. I'll continue to fight the people of Hong Kong that believe in things that we all recognize are intrinsic human rights. So thank you so much to everyone here, and thank you for your courage again and for all the good work you've done for so many years. Thank you. Go, Chen.
Congressman Suozzi,
Yes, there you go.
I apologize for mispronouncing your name.
Thank you so much. Tell my long island.
Thank you.
So again, today we're also announcing the launch of Hong Kong Democracy Council, which is an organization, nonpartisan, nonprofit, based here in DC. We're the first organization here on Capitol Hill that is committed and dedicated to the pro-democracy and human rights struggles in Hong Kong, right here in the US. And that we're prepared and we are committed to educating not only Congress, but the media and the American public on what is happening in Hong Kong and the US obligation on standing up and speaking up for the people of Hong Kong. And so it's my distinguished pleasure to welcome our founding board president, Anna Chung, who is also the founder of New Yorkers Supporting Hong Kong. And here's Anna.
I really cannot do this without all my friends and all the volunteers and all my board members like Victoria, Joseph, and our managing director Samuel. And also a few of our advisory board members are here, like Craig, Mike, and Nathan especially. And Nathan will say a few words later. My name is Anna, and I'm the founding board of this Hong Kong Democracy Council. Let me begin by sharing why I am proud to be a part of Hong Kong, DC. I'm a biology professor, a mother, and a New Yorker. And I am a Hong Konger. I was in Hong Kong when the current protest broke out. I watched the students who are younger than my own kids at the front line of the fight for Hong Kong's freedom and democracy. And I watched the violence they suffer at the hands of the police. Over the past few months, the people of Hong Kong has again called for global solidarity and international support. And today we are here to say we heard you. There are hundreds of thousands of Hong Kongers living in the United States like me, and even more Americans who have lived there, traveled there, and whose family members and friends are there. We are deeply committed to Hong Kong's democratic future. And so many of us are looking for ways to do our part. So that's why we have gathered here to launch the Hong Kong DC today. The need for a group like Hong Kong DC here on Capitol Hill has never been clearer. And the stakes for the Hong Kong people and also vital U.S. national and economic interests have never been higher. The pro-democracy movement in Hong Kong is not new. I, along with others, have been coming to DC to speak for Hong Kong for decades. But when the protests subside, the news coverage goes away and the fever on social media dies down. And there wasn't anyone to hold the US to its commitment and obligation to protect Hong Kong. We needed a dedicated, unified presence on the Hill that's long-term and permanent. We have had great champions like Senator Rubio, Senator Young, who just spoke, and Representative Smith, McGovern, and Swazi. And we have had great allies and partners in human rights like Freedom House, Human Rights Watch, and Human Rights in China and other organizations who are here with us today. But what was missing and truly needed were Hong Kongers to speak up for Hong Kongers. And that's who we are and what Hong Kong DC is. 香港人加油!
Following is Dr. Victoria Timbo Hui, who is actually a board president of Hong Kong DC. She's also an associate professor at the University of Notre Dame. Here's Dr.
So I'm here because Anna asked me to join, and then I'm also honored to be here because it is very important that we have this unified voice to fight for Hong Kong in the US and in DC. And then so I also said that I only want to make one point, even though the professor I can stop, but I want to be very quick. The one thing I want to say is that Beijing and also a lot of the pro-Beijing forces in Hong Kong is saying that we are, inviting foreign interference into Hong Kong's affairs. What I want to say is that it is actually Beijing that has been inviting foreign interference into Hong Kong in two very significant ways. The first way is that in the 1980s, so after the signing of the British Joint Declaration in 1980, it was Beijing that traveled around the world to how we invite all the Western democracies to treat Hong Kong differently. And it was actually in response to that the U.S. would enact the U.S. Hong Kong Policy Act in 1992. So this is important. This act has to be updated today. And the second very important way that Beijing has invited foreign interference is actually Beijing's threats to Hong Kong and what it has been doing in Hong Kong, beating down and breaking the bones on young people on the street. Those of us who actually know a little bit about lobbying know how hard it is to get any attention from senators and congressmen and congresswomen. And also we note that the act has been shelved for 5 years. Why suddenly there's this bipartisan support for the act? It's not just because of our action. It's because Beijing threatened to use the PLA and also the PAP, the People's Liberation Army and the People's Armed Police to one of these days if Hong Kong people don't stop, they may go into Hong Kong. And also with the white terror. And they're also using thugs to beat up Hong Kong people, not just protesters, but also passers-by and reporters. So it's actually through these ways that Beijing has invited foreign interference into Hong Kong. And thank you so much for Beijing's help that actually the world is listening to our call. And I'll pass on to the young people now.
Our next speaker is Nathan Law, who many of you know. He's now currently a student at Yale University, but prior to that, in 2016, he was the youngest elected legislator in the Hong Kong Legislative Council. But he was not given the opportunity to take his seat in the council because of reinterpretation by the Chinese government and forced upon the Hong Kong government. He, along with Joshua and Alex, who are both supporters of Hkdc, were nominated by senators and congressmen for the Nobel Peace Prize back in 2018 for their involvement in leadership. Here's Mr. Law.
Hello everyone, I'm Nathan, and first of all I need to express my gratitude to all of you because of your attention, because of your coverage. The knowledge about Hong Kong in the US and in the world has been dramatically increased. Remember when I testified in the same committee in the Hill back in May this year, the knowledge about Hong Kong and our struggle was so limited, and the numbers of congressmen who agreed to co-sign the bill, the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Bill, were only a handful of them. But for now, we have more than 40 of the congressmen agreeing on signing the bill, and we expect that to be put in the near future. It's a tremendous success for the knowledge of Hong Kong and for the protest of Hong Kong. And if any one of you would think of Hong Kong as a geographic location, I think Hong Kong is just more than that. Hong Kong is an identity. Hong Kong is a concept, a spirit that people outside Hong Kong we all share. Sometimes when people living abroad, living overseas, we see things happening in Hong Kong that's so brutal, that's so unreasonable, that we may feel sad. But on the other hand, we also feel a responsibility to act on, to respond to the incidents, and to perform our duties no matter where we are. So I think the reason why there is a formation of the particular council that we are in is because people living outside Hong Kong, and especially in the US, we are determined to do something. I think the formation of this organization usher into a new paradigm of Hong Kong-US relation, which the relationship is constructed by our scholars, by activists, and by our fellow citizens who dare to seek and speak the truth. So this formation, our organization, is really important when in the future there will be any incidents correlated to Hong Kong. There are not only people from China who speak their concealed facts, but also for people in Hong Kong, we have scholars and experts to talk about Hong Kong issues, Hong Kong affairs in our first hand and in our facts. So I think this is really an important moment for all of us who have been doing international lobbying work and who has been trying to raise awareness about Hong Kong. So let me thank our fellow board members and all the people who live overseas who have contributed to this success and to the passage of the bill. We're expecting this to be passed within this year. So this is a very critical moment for Hong Kong, and we are here to support Hong Kong, and we are here as Hong Kongers to speak our own voice and our own truth. Thank you.
Again, Nathan is serving as the co-convener of the advisory board for Hong Kong Democracy Council. Now, let me introduce our delegation and guests and our leaders, really, from Hong Kong, who joins us today after having testified in the Congressional Executive China Commission and speaking the truth about not only what's happening, but calling the U.S. to its obligation and the global community to its obligation to protect the people of Hong Kong. First, let me introduce Denise Ho, who is an award-winning singer, actress in Hong Kong, who is also a leading advocate for not only pro-democracy, but LGBTQ rights in Hong Kong and abroad. Here's Denise.
I'll make this very quick because I think everyone is gone and hungry. So I have been one of the proud participants of this movement in Hong Kong, where among a lot of other Hong Kongers, I have been awakened by this young generation of Hong Kongers, whether it's in 2014 with Joshua, Nathan, and the student union, or whether it's this time in 2019 where we made this huge comeback from the ruins of the umbrella movement. Nobody thought we could do it, but the youngsters, they have shown the courage and the determination. And it is a very happy feeling to see that this momentum has been catching on into different communities overseas, where today is a very happy moment also for us, where we see scholars and Hong Kongers basically forming alliances, building this sort of community in solidarity with the people everywhere. So I think this is the thing to do, this is the way to go, because we are not only this 2 million or 3 million people in Hong Kong who are in this fight. We are together as one with the people in DC, in New York, in Canada, in Australia, and we will be fighting and winning this very difficult but determined fight as well. Thank you.
And our final speaker needs no introduction. Joshua Wong, who's the Secretary General of the Masisto in Hong Kong. He was featured in a Netflix documentary titled Joshua, Teenager versus Superhero. We're glad that he's here because he was recently arrested again in a mass arrest by Hong Kong government in order to try to quash the pro-democracy protest that is ongoing. He has put his own life on the line in leadership and service of the people of Hong Kong. It is my distinguished pleasure to welcome and introduce Joshua Wong.
Thank you for the invitation from Samuel and Anna. It's really my honor and pleasure to come to DC, to the Capitol Hill again after 2 years ago being locked up in prison. We know now is the critical time in Hong Kong, and it's really remarkable for us to have international allies around the world, especially the first organization in Washington focused on educating more people in the United States to focus and pay attention to Hong Kong issue, the Hong Kong Democracy Council, Hkdc. I remember a few years ago when the first time for me to travel to the East Coast, I met with Anna and also Jeffrey, two New Yorkers really care about Hong Kong future. I just asked the question, when Taiwanese people set up FAPA in the United States to fight for the better and brighter future, how about Hong Kongers? Is it possible for any people live in the United States, they can set up foundation or organization to support Hong Kong people? And finally, in such critical and good timing, with Hkdc based at Washington DC to let the world aware the voice of Hong Kongers. Frankly speaking, why Hong Kongers, no matter Dennis Ho, Sunny Cheung or I, three of us can travel from Hong Kong to Washington to let the voice of Hong Kong people being heard in the free world? It's not because of our contribution. It's not because of our commitment or our popularity. It's all because of the price paid by Hong Kongers and the sacrifice of loss of our young generation. I mean, youngsters even younger than me. In this uphill battle, we need to stand as one with solidarity. 5 years ago, umbrella movement remained with the political system unchanged. We claim that we will be back. Finally, we are back with even stronger determination on the street and also in the international advocacy. Now is the time for the world to pay attention to Hong Kong. I believe we're not only urging the US Congress to pass the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act. Now is also the time for free world to stand solidarity with Hong Kong. Thank you.
I want to say Sunny is here too, and also Sharon is here. Sharon is also our advisory board. So I know we don't really have a lot of time. I know reporters want to interview the speaker before, so please feel free. I know, but try to like arrange it like whatever how you want to interview. Or maybe we can go down there. Yeah, go down.
So thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
So if you want to do interviews, they'll be available.